Hello, how's it going? That's such a terrible intro. Me and Jenna were just talking about how I don't remember what the intro is that we used to use, and she told me to do my old intro from my YouTube from like 2010, and I just feel like 2020 is
Doesn't
not the time for that one.
fair,
Fair.
valid.
But hello, I'm Ashley, aka MiDNiTE, here with Amanda, the Jedi,
The
and we're
Jedi.
doing Powered Down. If you don't know what Powered Down is, you missed the first 45 episodes. Is that how many there were?
Uh, 48.
Oh, we nailed it. Oh my
We
god,
nailed
we're
it.
about to get to 50.
We were.
This has been like how long have we been doing the podcast? Like 4 years, 3 at least.
Yeah, like three, I'd say.
3 years
think
of the
three.
podcast, so almost a year's worth in the 3 years, and it's almost been a year since we uploaded one. So as
Yeah,
you can
we were
see,
real consistent for a bit.
consistency is our middle name here. Powered, consistent, down. Wait,
Yeah,
no,
but you
that's
got like a real job.
so
You
well.
got.
I mean, listen, Jedi. I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's a direct like timing correlation between when we stopped recording the podcast and when both of our careers started doing a lot better. So, what do you what do you attribute that to?
I would say it's definitely more yours changed. I think mine was still pretty. I don't know. I was doing more behind the scenes stuff last summer than I was like. My channel was doing like okay, but it didn't really start blowing up until like December. But I
Dude,
was doing all the optic editing and stuff still back then.
what a journey.
What
Hey,
a
you
journey.
came in at the wrong time of that. Oh
I
shit.
did. I always say that I got my foot in the door so everybody could run out.
Yeah, like we hit out the
Like,
fire escape and you were like, "What's going on?"
what's going on, guys?
You brought
I'm
like
so happy to be included.
you brought a cookie tray to the party and we left.
Yeah, y'all bailed.
Listen, we had to though. It is
I
crazy
get it.
though. A year ago, well, okay, if we uploaded the podcast, what did you say? July 23rd was the last
Yeah,
time we uploaded,
yeah.
and I don't even remember like what was going on at that time, but I think I was like,
You were gone. Like you were
yeah.
duns, and a bunch of other people were kind of in the interim. And I think the end of July was when most people were gone. Because I think
Oh
by
no.
champs, most people were gone.
Yo, it's true.
Yeah, I think yeah.
For those of you that don't know, I was part of Optic Gaming for a really long time, like 9 years. Shout out
Hmm.
to the OGs of the OG. Um, and Jedi was super interested in video editing, all that stuff. Big Optic fan. We became pals quite a while ago,
Yeah,
and she's very talented. And she started doing some contractor editing work
yeah.
with Optic, and then
Hmm.
we had some good plans. Like, I think at one
Yeah,
point it was like you were almost about to move to Texas where I was living at the time. And I was super stoked on that. I was like, bro, yes.
yeah. And even like without that, there was like plans for you. I would go down for like stints at a time. It would be
Yeah.
like there and back, so that they
Yeah.
wouldn't actually have to like do as much to get me into the country. But
Yeah, because you're
so
Canadian. There's a whole visa thing.
yeah, so I was like, it was really cool. I was really excited to be a part of all that, and I was really happy with most of the work I was doing, and it was cool to feel like I was, being paid to do something that I actually wanted to do. And then it just blew up.
Yeah, then Optic got sold for the second time in less than 2 years.
Yep.
And no further comment at this time, but I decided to leave as
Yeah,
well as everyone else.
yeah. I stayed longer because they were kind of like paying me to kind of keep things afloat in the interim a little bit. And then they wanted me to move to Los Angeles, and for a multitude of reasons, that was not the right choice for my life, which I believe has been confirmed multiple times over. They were nothing but good to me. But I know that I would have been back in Canada within like a month of that happening. So,
Yeah,
and they were like
dude.
very insistent that I had to be there.
Super risky, man. Like LA's the
Hmm.
type of place where if you don't live somewhere, so if you're not like big bucks rich, you have to live somewhere with other people, like I don't know,
Hmm.
3 or 4 roommates, try to make it work. And listen, there's a lot of opportunity in LA. I'm not gonna say there's not,
Yeah.
but holy fuck.
I
Crap,
remember
I
you
swore.
when you found out I wasn't going, you were like, "Oh, thank God."
I know, I was like, because I was like, dude, I would hate to see you move there and like shit hits. I just knew that that situation wasn't gonna pan out well.
It
Um,
wasn't it wasn't in line with what I wanted to do because I was still very passionate about my own work on the side, and
yeah,
working here remotely means that I could be working at like what is 6 to 7 o'clock in the morning my time while everybody's still asleep in LA. So it just kind of, and then by the time they're going through the work I gave them, I could be working on my own thing. So like it's just, it gave me a lot more freedom while still getting just as much work done than if I had just been like, oh well, you work a 9 to 5 now. So you spend half your time twiddling your thumbs waiting to get things when you could just be, planning out your day in a different way. Like if
Yeah.
there's nothing for me to do between the hours of like 10 and 2 p.m.,
Come
why do I
sit in
have to
this
be in this
chair.
office? Yeah, so it was just like it really wasn't there was like a multitude of reasons, but I even if everything had been aligning perfectly, it probably still wouldn't have been the right situation
Dude,
for me.
imagine if it had been, and then you move there and a global pandemic happens. Like, what the
Yeah, that's
fuck?
that's the other thing. I would have been that's why I said I would have been back in Canada within like 2 months of it happening.
And then you would have
Or
been
like a
trapped in
month.
Canada, and then you would have still been paying rent in LA, which sounds like my personal nightmare. So, it's listen though. So from there, stop doing
Yeah.
the podcast here. Let's catch up a little
Mm-hmm.
bit.
Yeah.
Both of our lives got infinitely more successful after stopping the recording. I don't think the two have anything to do with each other.
No, they don't. They don't.
They might.
Well, you were going through like health issues and then you got this new amazing job with the rocker. So like that became your priority. So you had the 9 to 5 type job where you're kind of like running your
Yes.
hustle. So like that took away from the time that we would normally record. And then I started doing well too. So
Yeah, literally all. Oh, so first thing, I'm gonna politely correct you. Never say the
oh,
rocker. It's either the Minnesota rocker, or rocker. You would never
my
call
bad.
them the optic. Well, maybe you would now because they're the fake ones. But I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Honestly, they make really good content. If they were called something else, they'd be killing it.
Yeah, probably.
but
Yeah.
but okay, so almost a year ago. No, wait. Oh, it's coming up in like 2 weeks. July
Yeah.
1st. It gets announced that the Wilf family, who owns the Minnesota Vikings, is buying
Mm-hmm.
a Call of Duty League slot, and I knew instantly. It was actually funny, and I can't find a clip of this to save my life. It's not on my computer. It's not on my Twitch because Twitch like mass
Yep.
exodus a bunch of vods and like clips. But
Yeah.
I was on stream when the team got announced or the franchise slot got announced, and my first reaction was just like pure joy, pure excitement. I want to work
Yeah.
with these people. I already knew that I was, definitely like barging past Amanda at the entrance of the door at Optic. I was like, yo, I love that you're here, but I gotta go. And peace, thanks for the
Yeah.
cookie tray.
Like she already back in Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to get too into it because some of you guys have heard this before, but it's literally like my dream job. Minnesota, love it, love Minnesota. I lived here my whole life except for the
does.
2 years in Texas. Call of Duty esports, one of my top passions.
Mm-hmm.
Something I've been involved with for 10 years. I literally still can't believe it. Like, I don't know if you do the same thing, Jedi. Maybe you could speak to this because now you've started to really excel in something that you love to do. Do you start to feel kind of like stressed out about it though? Like, I get so stressed about things that I love, but when I take a step back just for a second, I take a deep breath, I'm like, yo, I'm in the best. Like, I will never peak this hard again, probably. That's not true because I
Yeah.
will. But like,
Yeah, of course.
like stuff's going well, but I still stress about it. Is that normal?
Yeah, you always
Diagnose
have
me.
moments where you're like, you're on the come up until you're not.
True.
And like it's like, something goes well and you're like, okay, how do I get this to like sustain? Cuz I'm used to having videos pop off and then it not sustaining long term. And then finally when it did, that's when you're kind of like
Oh.
you start thinking a little bit more about what you're putting out there and you're doing what people love, but then you still want to do other stuff. Like I'm the most happy with my content right now than I've ever been. And I still feel like there's a lot more stuff that I want to do, but there just aren't enough hours in a day, which is weird because I upload less than I used to, but I think the quality is significantly better.
Yes, dude. Each of your videos is a banger. And this isn't any fault of you or not. It's not that I wasn't interested, but I was just so busy. I didn't like keep up with your channel.
No, I get it.
I throw your stream on the TV while I'm doing stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
But I would, after a while, I went back. I saw the Shia LaBeouf video. I saw a couple others that you did, and I'm like, damn, she's going hard in these videos. Like she's putting her best foot forward. They're really really good. And so like,
Thank you.
I think the mark of somebody who not just wants to succeed. Maybe not everybody has this, but whenever you find success, it's not enough. And it's not because to me, it's not really money. I don't really care that much about money. I care about wanting to be better and better and doing cooler and cooler shit.
Yeah.
And I think the last 10 years has shown that. I've like just climbed slowly. Now, it wasn't a straight up and it wasn't a straight down. It's always just been like climb, climb, climb.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's like the mark of somebody who really is passionate and wants to succeed is they're never happy with what they're doing. They always want more.
Like, I feel like before it was kind of just like I was throwing a bunch of stuff at a wall just to see what would stick, and then finally it started sticking in a direction where I was like really happy with what I was doing, because I did notice that there was content that was sticking before, but I was like, I'm not proud to be making this type of content, and this is not this isn't a direction I want to hard pivot into, because it doesn't make me feel good about myself. I will talk about important issues when I feel like they're relevant and when it bothers me, but I don't want to be in this position where I feel like I constantly have to be looking for something and someone that has like done something, I guess. So
Yeah, like
I'm just more.
the dramatics of it.
Yeah, and it's like it's fine. I don't like. I think some of those people do like people. I do think it actually makes more of an impact with some of that content when it's someone who doesn't normally do it, who finally is just kind of like, no, this is a person that I feel needs to be called out now, rather than just. And like again, if this is the kind of content you like watching and the content you like making, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think it did hit a part where people were making tea out of situations that were not tea. And like I had that realization that it was like people are just throwing around like the most serious allegations, and even if in your video you're mentioning that it's an allegation, so like it's very easy to tell the way that you personally feel about it as you're making the video, and like some people can kind of juggle that a little bit better, and some people can't, and I definitely just didn't want to be that person, so I just pivoted in the direction that I prefer, and I'm very happy with where I am right now. So
Yeah. So before you were kind of doing God, what's the word? You were talking about things that were really important, especially things that were happening on YouTube, but some of them would be considered kind of controversial or I guess negative. Especially, I mean, I think back to like the
yeah.
Daddy of Five stuff, and I'm like, those are children whose like
Yeah, that I don't
lives are.
regret talking
No, no,
about.
no,
That I
no,
do not.
shouldn't.
Yeah. No, that because I've that was just kind of like, man, they're still using their platform in a very similar way that they like you can't it's like I can't get banned on, I don't know, say like I was a gun channel and like accidentally shot somebody and my channel got banned, and then I started up a new one, and then like and I was just making more gun
And
content
they're like,
even if it wasn't as bad as it was, like y'all still got charged in a court of law for something and had children removed from you, and you're going right back to the same behavior that you thought like that encouraged this behavior to happen in the first place. So like, but yeah, I was doing kind of more of the like, I don't know, hot topic newsy
yeah,
drama stuff, and
yeah,
like
like
yeah.
stuff that really kind of gets attention. And I think I like those videos from you because you weren't just there, kind of like you mentioned, like for like the tea reasons, like oh my god, guys, what drama are we getting into today? Like you laid stuff out in a really cool way and a really
Yeah.
a way that people could easily understand. But now where you went was more in line with, is it film critique, film review, film I don't know the word, like
It's
pointing
like
out things
it's like
about pop
pop
culture.
culture. It's like pop culture because I'll still talk about like if I see a news article that's kind of weird, I'll still talk about it if it's something interesting like that. But I do like doing just kind of like pop culture analysis or just movie analysis, and a lot of them do tend to be me kind of like just like riffing on things because people find it funny. But I'll even riff on things that I like. Like I'll make fun of Twilight, and I have like such a soft spot for Twilight. Honestly,
That it's so
it's just
bad
a
that it's
thing.
good.
Yeah, that's kind of well, originally I unironically liked it, and now it's like I can see the flaws now that I'm older, but there's still that part of me that like remembers unironically loving it when I was younger. So I still that part still resonates with me. So it's like an interesting place. But it's usually because the stuff that I care about a lot, I put like so much effort into that it takes more time. Like I'm working on a Scott Pilgrim video right now that is just taking forever because I care about it so much that it's not something that I can feel like I can even turn around in like a week. But like some of my videos are like taking longer than like they really ever have before, for better or for worse, but it's people are enjoying them, so that's it makes me feel more comfortable taking a little bit more time to make things, so
I think it's the right move. I think you did it perfectly. And gosh, man, I see stuff sometimes, and this has always been a problem in like content creation and like the influencer world is people don't understand how long some of this can take. Like you've been doing this for years.
yeah, it's like 5 years now, like exactly
Like
5 years.
going hard too, not just like, oh yeah, I'll toss up a video,
Yeah,
like try it, like you said, throw stuff at the wall, see
yeah,
what sticks. You saw what sticks, you saw what you like to do, and then you go
yeah,
farther into that. And I think
yeah.
now that you have caught fire and it's more than just a one-off video every once in a while, I think it's awesome that you're taking more time to make sure that those new visitors, those new subscribers have they're like happy that they subscribed. They're not just like, "Oh yeah, she made that one video
Yeah.
and then forget about you forever."
And that's what I've noticed is that, like, I'll have videos that pop off and do really well, but you'll look at, like, so if I gained, like, 20 subscribers and 20,000 subscribers in a month, and I look at the video that did the best that month, it's like maybe like 2 to 3,000 are from that video, but it means that people clicked that video, then went back to my channel and were like, "I like the rest of the content that's here, so now I'm gonna subscribe." Which is, I think, something people don't always consider how that works. And, like, honestly, sometimes it takes months for someone to subscribe because, like, every once in a while, like, if you have a video that does well, people are clicking on it, YouTube will start recommending your other videos on people's homepages. So sometimes they
Yeah.
think that they're subscribed to even though they're not, just because your stuff's always popping up in on the homepage. So if you can actually convert those people into like acknowledged subscribers, that's like very cool.
Yeah, and so that brings to the next point. We talked about this just before we hit record. A year ago, you had, was it 25,000
It was
subscribers?
probably it was like right around 30,000. So like 30 to
30K.
30, yeah, 30K, right around, yeah, sometime in July I
And
hit
so as soon
30K.
as so let me get this straight. As soon as we stop recording the podcast, you got 70,000 subscribers.
No, I'm gonna be no more than that. I'm gonna be honest. My channel completely stalled out in like November. So I hit 30K in July and then it was like nothing. There was like
That
no real
plateau.
there was like maybe 5K that came in August. August did really well because of one video I made. And then it just stopped. And in November in specific, like didn't matter what I uploaded, how I felt about it, like how good it was. Some of those videos are now doing better down the road for whatever reason. They're either getting recommended because people are looking them up. Some stuff in October too is doing better. But it was like everything. I didn't know what was going on in November. That also happened to be the month that I had got a different job in editing that also fell through no fault of my own within 2 weeks of getting hired.
Tough
Um,
scenes, bro.
yeah, so it was just one of those things. It was like, yeah, investor fell through. This isn't sorry. So I was like, I didn't know what to do because at that point I'd already quit my day job because this was going
Yeah.
to be
You
the
like
full-time job and
quit
then
to
I could
do content.
yeah, I quit to do content because I was getting paid an actual salary to edit for a company and I would want to make sure I had time for streaming and my own video. So I was like, I got to quit this job. And then it was like within 2 weeks of actually starting the job before I really even had a chance to do anything, they were just like, there's some wires crossed here. I'm going to try to find you something else. But then whatever it was, December, um, I had a video that I released right at the end of November that started hitting recommended, and it just pushed the rest of my content. And then my cats video came out just before the holidays, and that helped too. And then it's just kind of been, it slowed down a little bit in February, but then it was just up, and I'm almost at 140,000 subscribers now.
God damn, that's amazing, dude. I'm so happy
Yeah,
for you. I think, and
thank
the
you.
reason we're talking about this so much, guys, is I think maybe there's other people out there that either want to be a content creator, maybe at the very least want to understand how it works. It's
Mm-hmm.
I think people look at the number, and especially now, like you have like your 100K plaque or whatever you call it, button. Yeah. Oh, cute.
I love it.
Yo,
I see yours.
twinsies,
You get
twinsies.
the
I got
OG.
the one from it. My channel name on there is not even right. It says
Yeah, it was
threat
before
level
you could.
midnight.
Yeah, it's before you could change them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I think, I don't know, it's important for people to not just see the number and be like, "Oh, like yeah, cool, you're a YouTuber." Like they don't sometimes don't know how much work can really go into it, and how it's not just, you don't just start doing it and you're successful. It's like a lot of other
Very
things in
rarely.
life. It takes a lot of time, effort, patience, consistency.
Hmm.
Definitely more consistent than this podcast, and
Yeah,
it
a lot of
takes
consistency.
a lot of work. So I don't know. I'm happy for you, dude, because you're killing
Thank
it and
you.
your videos are really enjoyable. I think it's
You.
mainly focused around movies and stuff, right? Like
Yeah, lately pop culture, like the one that's going up next is a little bit more. I'll still do like general commentary videos where I talk about something that's like funny, but lately the ones that do better are involving movies and just pop culture stuff like that. But I can still have other stuff pop up. And it's always fun when you can tie something in like a movie or a show back to something that's like really happening, that's like serious in some way, like Gwyneth
yeah,
Paltrow's Goop show. You can tie into like all of the weird pseudoscience and MLM stuff that's going on and
good
things like
lord,
that. It's fun.
good Lord.
Good Lord.
How have you been hanging in there since this whole global pandemic? What do we got now? It's civil unrest. Who knows what's next
Yeah.
for 2020?
I
It's
know.
it's been a crazy fucking year, dude. Like, how have you been doing? Is your daily life like mine? It was already quarantine lifestyle.
Yeah, it had pretty much already gotten to that point because, like I said, I had quit my day job where I actually had to go places. And then I'd just been making content anyways. Obviously, when the pandemic stuff first started really getting heavy, I feel like everybody just felt overwhelmed because, like, you couldn't go anywhere without people freaking out. We didn't really know what it was. We didn't know how fast it was going to
This
spread in certain
scary
areas.
times, dude.
Yeah, it was. And it's almost like I feel like it's still scary, but I feel like you can only reach so much anxiety before your brain's just kind of like, you can't anymore. Um,
Damn, that's
some
a good
people will
point.
keep going, going, and going, but I think like the average person, eventually you almost start to desensitize to it because like if you don't, you will not be able to function as a human being. And I think for like the first, week to month, a lot of people just didn't have the ability to function because it's hard to process things, especially if it drastically changed your life. Like I said, I felt really lucky that I didn't have to go many places, but I might have actually got like the less severe version of it already, and I might have to go get tested for the antibodies.
Dude, I'm in the same boat. I know I sound like every other person talking about COVID-19, but I
I
swear to
know.
God I had it at the end of January, man. I swear I
Yeah.
had it. I swear I did.
Yeah, but I have so there were a bunch of articles that came out being like, is Sundance the reason why it spread so quickly in America? And
Dude,
that's where I was. And I got so sick when I got back and I couldn't, like, I was having a hard
I
time
remember
breathing,
that.
but it wasn't quite as bad as what people were describing some of the worst symptoms as. But then they were like, there's like you can be affected less severely, but it's still, so it was like I was sick for like 2 weeks, but like a solid
Same.
week and a half of that, I couldn't move. I was having a hard time breathing. There was a couple times where I was like, I think I need to go to the hospital, but I felt so bad that I just couldn't like get myself
Damn,
there. And
bro,
I
I
was
would
just,
take you. I would fly and take you.
well, it was just more like because like no one was really around, and I was just like, it'll be okay, I guess. But I was like so sick.
Damn.
Um, yeah, so there's a chance like it could have just been another really bad flu. But
Could have
I
been.
still think I should go get the antibody testing because
I
obviously people that have that are useful to them. So
Yeah, I think I need to see too. I don't know if you just call your regular doctor and you're like, "Yo, hook me with the
probably,
antibodies, dog." But I
yeah.
really okay, I might not have had it because I do traditionally get sick after a
Events.
an event. So I saw this article, I don't know. Who knows? There's so many articles about COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, I'll just
Yeah.
preface this by saying that.
Yeah, of course. Neither do I.
But it has been proven that it was in America much faster or sooner than we had
Yeah,
originally thought
earlier.
that it could have been. And the extreme lack of testing, especially in America at the time that I'm going to talk about,
Yep.
I think it could have been a flu. But so our event, launch event weekend here in Minneapolis at the Armory, shout out to Minnesota Rockers, shout out to everybody who came and got me sick. There was an article that weekend that had come out saying that people someone had like exhibited symptoms at the airport, but that their test ended up being negative, or they weren't able to test. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what it was, but the gamers who were here were making jokes on Twitter like, "Oh, we're gonna catch him all," like
Yeah.
joking. And listen, I do get sick when I go to conventions. I just have a bitch ass
Same.
immune system. Like, I don't go outside that much.
Yeah.
I don't get sick very often, but when I do, I get really sick. So after the event, though, I think it was like 2 days after, I had like a sore throat, which I always have. And I wake up in the middle of the night with a fever. And like, I don't get a fever. It's super rare for me
Yeah.
to get a fever. And I had it for like 3 or 4 days almost. And just dry cough, bad cough, didn't start being productive till like 2 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely fatigued, body aches. I mean, all the COVID
Yeah.
symptoms, minus the
Yeah.
like losing the sense of smell and taste. So I don't know. Maybe I had it, maybe I didn't. I should get the antibody test because apparently, like, I could give my plasma or something to
Yeah, exactly.
hopefully.
So it's useful. So I'm sure they would want to. And like maybe they think people are freaking out about it too much. But if I literally say, look, I was in an area where they have now linked an outbreak of it from, and I was there for like 2 weeks. So when everyone's like, no, but it
Yeah.
takes like 2 weeks for it to like, no, but I was there for 2 weeks. So it could like
Yeah.
literally by the time I got home, when I wasn't sick, it wasn't like immediately the next day. Or no, because like I started feeling iffy on the travel day home, which is pretty normal. But it was like that next day I started feeling gross. And then the day after that, I was like,
Boom.
wrecked. But if I'd gotten sick on the travel to Sundance, then yeah, that's the time it would have taken to like really start showing symptoms by the time I got back, because Sundance is like it's 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a
So
whole ass festival, by the way. That's where do you
it is.
stay? You go do like an Airbnb? What do you do?
So what we did this year, I say a little bit less than last year. So I stayed for about like 12 days
Oh
instead of like
yeah,
14.
only
But
only 12.
I know. So but I get down on like the Thursday, and then me so like last year it was only a couple of us that had like the press passes. So for like the first weekend, the only way you can get into certain things is if you have like the press badges. Um or you have to like pick a week that you're going, but like with press you can do both. So we got down on like the Thursday, and it was like us, and like we were in like a little Airbnb in Salt Lake City, and we stayed there for like the first like 2 nights, and then we go into Park City where most of it's happening, and then we had a bigger like ski lodge Airbnb type thing where we had like 8 people staying. So I get my own room, so I don't really mind, but it cuts down the cost quite a bit when you can stay with like a big group of people. So it was like $700 for the whole thing, which really wasn't
That is not bad.
bad at all. It's not bad for staying for that long. Like
Yeah.
it's like $100. It's like less than $100 a night by the end of it.
Mhm.
So that's really was not that bad. But like yeah, if you're going alone, it would be so expensive because Park City's pretty pricey anyways. But especially during Sundance and stuff,
Oh,
like
I'm sure.
the
I'm
whole
sure it's
city
booked
shuts
out for
down.
like
Yeah,
a
the
year or
whole
two.
city shuts down for Sundance, and then on top of that, it's also like a very popular ski city. Like it's like you can literally like you can see the slopes when you're walking through town and stuff. Like it's beautiful.
Wait.
But yeah, so it's pretty pricey, but I like it. But yeah, that's why I might have already had COVID.
When you show up to Sundance with your press badge, do you look like the Wayne's World, like showing your badge? Because that's what I would do.
Yeah, pretty much, because like you have to get in different lines depending on. So I actually got bumped up from last year, so I was more important press critic this year. It's a critic badge, not even
Wow.
just press. It's a critic badge. So I
Professional
basically
film
get.
critic Amanda the Jedi.
Yeah, exactly though. So I get so you have to show them your badge when you're walking in, so they can put you in like the right line, and then they have to scan it before you go into movies to make sure that it's like so to make sure you didn't hand off your badge to somebody else, or if somebody tried to fake it, like
Dang.
if some like 7 foot tall dude tried to scan my thing, like their card reader would show my face. So
Whoa.
yeah,
That's
it's
dope.
pretty dope. It is actually. It's super cool.
What do you think's going to happen with movies now that a lot of the production on these shows and movies have stopped? I mean, it's great now because like stuff's still coming out on Netflix, but what happens in a year where like nothing's coming out because nobody can make anything?
The thing is they're starting up again, and a lot of movies have been delayed, so they've just held off on releasing a bunch of things. So movies that were like originally supposed to be out next year that had to stop production, once they can start up production, those movies that have been delayed now are going to fill those slots now. So then it's basically just moving everything back like 6 months. So I feel worse for like the independent movies, because the independent movies have had to either decide to sit on themselves and wait to do limited releases once things get hopefully better, or they've had to just immediately put themselves on like streaming services where people don't even have like the remote chance of necessarily hearing about them if they're not getting any kind of like publicity push in other areas, which is kind of a huge bummer. Like the big blockbuster stuff is going to be fine. I'm not
Oh
worried
yeah.
about Wonder Woman 1984. I'm not worried about Black Widow. Those movies are going to be fine. It's like it's the smaller stuff that like people have worked their entire lives to get the chance to make some of these movies, and they're kind of getting the shaft now.
As an avid moviegoer, Jedi, I used to go to movies a lot, and now I've found myself enjoying them more at home. Do you
Mm,
think that this is the nail in the coffin for movie theaters who are already struggling,
no.
or you think
Maybe
they're gonna be all right because you're still going?
it depends. I think some of the bigger franchises are actually going to get hit more than some of the independent ones, because independent ones are going to get a lot of like local support. People are buying gift cards and stuff. People are trying to keep independent things going. Institutes like the Sundance Institute, like the Toronto International Film Festival, like they're taking in donations and stuff to try to keep a lot of these places operational down the road, to make sure that they have the support they need to kind of like stay open, so that you can support your more independent film location. So like a lot of those places, so yeah, you're going to see a bunch close, sadly, but it's going to be those bigger franchise like companies that are you're going to notice the bigger issues with for sure.
Wow, that's actually interesting. I didn't like really think about it like that. Like your AMC's or your
Yeah,
Regal,
AMC
like
almost declared bankruptcy, but then managed to raise like a bunch of money, like in debt consolidation money or something like that. So like they're good for now, but I know like the big chain here is called Cineplex, and they like just before all this started happening, they got bought out by a company in like the UK. So who knows what's gonna happen there? I'm pretty sure like if you live in like a smaller town and there's only one movie theater, your movie theater is probably gonna be fine by default. It might go through some changes, There might be some like issues and stuff, but like if it's the only place for people to watch movies, you're gonna be fine. If you live in a bigger city where you've got like an Alamo Draft House and you've got an AMC and you got a this and that, like you might notice that one of them closes down because it can't account for like the amount that they've lost out as a result of this, and a lot of people are just going to be like hesitant to go to movie theaters for a little while.
I am. I
So
mean, I kind of already was before. I love
Mhm.
watching a movie with my cats on my couch, and I saw with this
No,
stuff. I mean,
different.
Trolls and other movies started doing like online releases when they were just about to release in theaters. Do you think that other movie, what do you call them, like publishers, are gonna start doing that?
That actually started a big thing where when Universal did that, AMC was like, we will not be playing any more Universal movies in our theaters because we see this as a hostile takeover of the movie market without us being involved in the conversation.
Damn. So
So
did
it's
do they have a
because
deal, or are
because
they just
Universal,
pissed to be pissed?
well, no, Universal was like, we this has gone so well that down the road, even when things kind of go back to normal, we might experiment with releasing some on home video, and like some people were saying that they might experiment doing like a combination. And they were like,
I could
so you're
fuck with
so
that.
like to a movie theater, that's like you are now you like what you're literally affecting with our like messing with our ability to make money. Like we pay you a bunch of money to get the rights. Ticket sales don't really go towards that. We sell money with like food and just different things from that side of the experience. So like by you making it available for people to consume at home, that's rough. Whereas a lot of independent movies kind of did like, we're gonna release VOD, but we're gonna split profits with with independent movie theaters. And it was like, that's a nice way to do that when you're already the little dog. Like, you know, like Trolls
Yeah.
World Tour didn't need help there, I
Yeah.
don't think. So I get it from both sides though. Like I actually made an entire video about it on my channel, so I see both sides of that argument. But yeah, I think it's going to be really big. I think with kid movies, I could see a push
Yeah.
for releasing kids movies at home because parents are obviously going to see the benefit of being able to just rent something at home for 24 hours and keep their kids just occupied while they do other things rather than having to spend like 20, 30, 50, $100 for the movie trip. Um,
Man, I
you know,
hate to say it. I think movie theaters are gonna go the way of drive-in theaters,
I love that.
and I love drive-in theaters. I
I
love
don't love drive-in theaters.
ah fucks with the drive-in. I haven't been since I was a
Mm-mm,
kid actually, so maybe it's
I don't
trash.
like
But
them. I
I
think they're better
like.
now,
I
actually.
think the movie experience that you have at a theater is different, especially if you're doing it in the company of another person. I think it's its
I
own.
like it alone
You
too.
like it alone? I mean, I
I
like
love
it.
it alone.
I like it alone as well. I've gone to movies alone. Dude, I went to. Ugh, I'm kind of embarrassed at the movie. I saw American Sniper because it was apparently the shit when it came out,
Yeah, that's fair.
and I went alone because my
Yeah.
mom didn't want to go see it with me. And I was like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna go. It was like opening weekend. I took the
Yeah, hell
last
yeah.
seat. It was like I swear it was like all dudes in there and like a couple chicks,
Yeah, for sure.
and like I was sitting next to this old dude who was into it. But
America.
like exactly. But I mean, it's a different atmosphere, but I don't think like with the way everything's going now, movie theaters need to do more than just sell snacks to make money. If they want to evolve with the times and make money, then you got to evolve with the times and make money. You can't just sell M&Ms at $4 and hope it goes
Well, a lot of
well.
them do like more premium offerings. They have like better seating. You can order actual full meals. You can get alcohol at some of them,
Yeah,
like
they've
VIP theaters.
definitely
Like
like
that's great.
pack a punched them. I don't
Yeah.
like those theaters though. I hate when I'm like fucking starting friggin' whoever's on the screen, I'm into it, and then like some guy's coming by with this smelly ass burger to give to the person next to me, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm just trying to watch the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. Bring the food beforehand. But like I don't know. I love the movie theater experience for one. There's a couple reasons for me specifically. I have a lot of focus issues. I have a really hard time
Especially at
just
home.
yeah. I have a hard time powering down to just kind of to do that. But in a movie theater, you are forced to be there because you don't because I'm not an animal and I don't go on my phone in movies. So, you know, um
I
uh so it's like I from that experience there alone, it's forcing me to take the movie in better than I would a lot of the times if I was at home. The other thing is when I'm at home now, this is my work area. There is not an
yeah.
area in this house that I don't do work. So my brain is always battling, can I just do something for the sake of enjoying something, or should I be working on something that becomes content? Should I be watching this while doing something else? So more often than not, I end up watching stuff that's not that great because it's easier to have on in the background than or just rewatching the same things over and over and over again. So like to actually sit and take the time to just really invest myself in a movie, I have such an easier time doing that when I go to the movie theater. So that is something that I've been very much missing lately.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people maybe have that same struggle right now with their with their working from home. I'm working from home. I was at an office job
Hmm.
with Rocker. I was in the office most of the days. I
Hmm.
still I think I do prefer to work from home. I feel like I get more shit done, but it definitely does like blur the line
Absolutely.
of like, oh, okay, yeah, it's 5 and I'm done now. Like I don't work like that. Like I've never
No,
worked
I
like that. I
don't.
spent a majority of my 20s just like always working, and it was always
Yeah.
in my house, so there's not like a okay, this is my like chill area, like everywhere's my work area, and I
Yeah.
definitely like empathize with that.
Yeah. I feel guilty for like reading. Like, I'm
Huh.
just like, I'm gonna read a book for the sake of reading a book that doesn't have the purpose of having a video made out of it after. Like, I feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
And it like I remember it started with video games. Like I didn't play video games unless I was streaming.
Yep.
And now it's like I don't want it to fully move into the movie direction where I don't watch movies unless it's something that I can make content off of. But at the same time, if it's something that I enjoyed watching so much, I do want to make a video about it. It's a racket sometimes.
It's
It's rough.
like I think my biggest and God, man, I sound like a total asshole complaining about this because it really, especially with the gaming point you just made, like I wouldn't play a video game unless I could record or stream it and then
Hmm.
ultimately like make it a part of my job and make money. Like
Yeah.
there was no incentive for me to do that. I didn't really like the way I would be able to tell if I really liked a game is if I would play it outside of those times.
Hmm.
Um, man, I forgot the point I was gonna make, but
Sorry.
it's just it's a tough to like. Oh, here's the point. It's an amazing job when you're working for yourself and you're doing something you're passionate about. But one of the problems that I have, and maybe I don't know if we're just the same way, or maybe this is something that's really common with this type of gig, but like you never turn it off. My brain is always thinking about
Hmm.
it. It's like, oh well, if I oh well, this video reminded me that I just watched. I was just trying to veg out, watch some YouTube. I was like, oh, I've seen this done before. Here's how I could do it on my stream, or here's how I could do it in this, or oh, I want to talk
Hmm.
about that. Like
Yep.
people would just clock out at 5 and drive home and then they're done. Like I kind of missed that through my 20s. Not that I didn't like what I was doing, but I don't know. I feel
No.
like an asshole complaining
No, no, no.
because it's
It's like
great.
it's I think it's important to word that like we are not saying that these are the reasons not to do what we're doing. It's
Yeah,
just like the benefits of being able to control your job outweigh a lot of other things that come from working like a regular 9 to 5 job, but it just means that you sink or swim with yourself.
true.
Like, like if you're not working, then you're not making money. So it makes sense that you're thinking about it a lot. And it makes sense that you're putting like a lot of effort into it. And it makes sense that you're not working. It's kind of like Hector always says, like esports never sleeps. It's like just content in general never sleeps. Like,
True.
it's like the last thing I think about before I go to bed. And it's like the first thing I'm thinking about in the morning because it's just like, what do I do today? How do I structure my day? And it's a whole day thing. It's like I'm usually working on videos until I eat and then I stream. Like
And then
that's
it's and
just
then every day just becomes this large like amalgamation of like everything's just a constant like take a nap, do a
yeah.
video, do a stream, take a nap, eat, like all
Yeah.
that.
And it's not saying I'm like a paradigm of like productivity. I think I was actually more productive when I still had the job at the gym, but I think it's actually because that was like I don't know, like, 6 to 8 hours a day where while I did have a lot of freedom to kind of like work on things at the same time because I was like working front desk. Yeah, there was still times where I could be like, well, I can't really film a video right now, so I might as well just like catch up on reading this while there's no one around. So it was like forced time away. Even if it was just doing like regular work there, it was still work that when I was done, I could just leave it. It was just done. It was like my brain was able to like compartmentalize different areas, whereas now it's like everything's just focused on that one concept, and that concept is just like making content. And I love it. Like I said, being your own boss in that way is amazing, but there's just so many factors and variables, especially with what we do, that there's like no control over. Like I can't control whether or not my video gets demonetized all the time. I can't control how many ads or how many people that have ads enabled are going to click on my video. I don't know how to guarantee how much money I'm making in that way. And it's like the same thing on stream. Like nothing's guaranteed. So it like
Dude,
yeah.
after living that for the better part of a decade, I definitely understand what you mean. It's so fluid in the best ways
Mhm.
and the worst ways.
Worst ways. Yeah, both. There's so many benefits and so many downsides, but I love it and I would not change it for the world and I would never complain about it. Like I would never look at somebody who's working like a ridiculously hard like physical labor or even like mentally straining job or like working for a boss that's an asshole and I would never just say you have it so good you don't
Yeah,
even
no.
know.
No.
Like no, like I realize I have it good, but there are trade-offs with that.
I
And
think
it's like I was kind of forced into this full time in a way that I didn't as like I would not have quit my job had I known I was going to immediately lose the one that I had just secured within like a month. So,
yeah.
you
Damn,
know, and
bad
that's
luck
the thing. You
Jedi.
sink or swim on your own work. That's what happened. I swam.
I've been there too. It's like I have this clutch factor, dude. It's like I can put my
Mhm.
ass against the fire, and it's almost like I work better under those circumstances. It's
Oh,
probably
yes.
not good or healthy for me to do that, but whenever I
No.
know, like, it's like, yo, fuck, if I fuck this up, I'm fucked. Sorry for swearing so
Yeah.
much, but like, if I
No, it's fine.
don't nail it, I'm screwed. And so I put all my
Yeah.
energy into it. And it's like, for me, and I think the reason we want to point this out is because a lot of people might think, oh yeah, you just fucking fuck off and talk about movies all day and get paid for it, or oh, you play games and get paid for it. It's must be nice, and it is nice.
Yeah.
Okay, it is
Yeah, it
nice,
is
but it's not
nice.
without its flaws. And I think now that I went from that position, I was in a very similar position that you're in now. To
Mm,
hey, here's this amount of money guaranteed. You don't have to worry about who's gonna subscribe or not, or how to entice them, or what's gonna
yeah.
happen. You have these duties to do and you're bound to them, and I do them, and like we want, you have to work this amount of time to this amount of time, and this is what the expectations are, and meeting
Mhm.
those expectations, it's not easy, but it's more structured in a way that I think provides me less anxiety. I know that I can say, hey, like I'm so much more organized now. I mean, even you, Jedi, today. So you
Mm.
remember like having to record the podcast with me before. It was like you'd have
Yeah.
to text me like 20 minutes before to be like, so we're still good for 11, right? Because I would be like 30
Yeah.
minutes late. Who
Yeah.
knows? I'd have a difficulty because I didn't set anything up prior. And now I had you in my little Outlook calendar. I was
Yeah,
like
you were
11
ready.
a.m. Tuesday. We're recording. I
Yeah.
have today off. So I was like, dude, I'll fit right in there.
Heck
And
yeah.
she texted me like 10 minutes before. She's like, you good for 11? And I'm like, yeah, bro, I'll put you in my calendar.
I
Like,
just
I'm
making sure.
reformed. I'm reformed,
Yeah.
man. I'm a new person. I'm
I
still
think I'm
disorganized,
like
but I'm
less
more.
yeah. I'm less structured now, I think, but because before it's like if you knew you had to work another job for a certain amount of time, you had to plan around it. I was the same in high school too. Like I worked a retail job like the entire time I was in high school and university, and it just even though it was obviously more work and there was a lot of stressful times, knowing that there was other things happening in your day that you had to work around was really helpful. And now that it's just kind of like, here's the whole day that you can do whatever you need to do whenever you need to do it. And sometimes you spend an hour trying to
Yep.
figure out what is the first thing you should be doing. How should you be structuring your day? And that's a problem. So I find actually helping with that is if I write down the night before what I need to
Yeah.
do,
It's
how I
it's
want to
and I'm still not very good at it. I think my coworkers could maybe attest to this.
do.
I've gone from working for myself for almost 10 years and
Yeah.
structuring it all myself, which is I mean, not good. um, and now it's like in order to get shit done, I can get shit done, but I need
Yeah.
to like organize it in a way because otherwise like my head's just full of shit. So
Hmm.
I literally write down, like, this is so nerdy and this is probably like elementary, but I'll literally like write down if I know, okay, I have a meeting with Jedi on Thursday. I have a section in my phone where it's like there's people's names and then there's like topics I know I need to talk to them about, or if I'm
Hmm.
in like a group meeting about a specific topic, I'm like, okay, I know I need to talk about these things. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be like, after the meeting, I'll be like, oh fuck, I forgot to mention
Yeah.
this, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
like I literally have like my to-do list is always going, it's filling up, it's crossing off, it's everything all the time, and it's helped me so much. So I think like writing down a list of the shit you need to get done helps so
Yeah.
much. I think it can help anybody too. One point that I want to give. Well, okay, how about let's just turn this into the advice section. I'm going to give Jedi some unsolicited advice,
Hell
which
yeah.
is my favorite kind to give. Okay, so Jedi, in order to help you get out of always on work mode, you
Uh-huh.
should get a hobby or do something. It could be simple. It could be as easy as walking outside or like getting obsessed with plants, anything. Do something completely outside of your job, which is now your enjoyment, if you can every day, or at least like a couple hours a week, like do something else that helps you
I try to
escape.
go for a walk. I do try to go
Yeah,
for walks now.
same, dude. I've been
Yeah.
walking.
I like walks. I live in kind of like this like not crowded little side woodland subdivision type thing. So there's like not, but there's not a lot of houses type thing. So I just like go for a little walk around the block.
Yeah, dude, it
A little
helps a
walk
lot.
around.
It's been helping me. I mean, I had my whole health thing, so I had
Mm,
pelvic pain so horrendously until I had surgery. And even then, even now, like the last couple months is when I just started working out again. Okay, I'm not gonna like flex or anything, Jedi, because I don't want to intimidate you. But
yeah.
like, I've been and the gyms aren't open. I don't have any weights, but I have like
Yeah, I
resistance
wouldn't do that.
bands. I've been
Hell yeah.
walking. I've been like actually trying, and it's the first time where like I actually
Dang.
noticed like a muscle grow, and
Hell yeah.
I was like, oh, it's happening because
I'm beefy.
apparently if you put effort and time into things that aren't your
Something
career, you
happens.
can like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy, dude. So my advice, unsolicited, do something else and unplug because it helps you reset so much. For me, it is also walking too.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that I still love watching movies. It's just that yeah,
Yeah,
I liked going to the movies because
yeah.
it was the easiest way to unplug because there's nothing around you. You know, it's just you and occasionally someone annoying. But if you go in the middle of the day, if you go on a Wednesday, the day after cheap day at like 3 p.m., there's like maybe one other person there, one other couple, and it's just smooth sailing. It's great.
And
And
then
like
they
not
don't
having
think you're
that.
there, and then they start banging, and you're like, oh my god.
Oh my. Yeah, exactly. Were you watching my last movie experience?
No.
No.
Wait, is that
Yeah.
real?
No, I've
I have
never
a
had that
story about
happen.
that, but I don't think I could share with it on the podcast.
Fair.
Okay, two things. I have two other topics written down. I don't know. It's like, first of all, The Last of Us Part 2 comes out this week,
Yeah,
which I'm very excited about. I can't remember. You haven't
same.
played through the first one, or you
I
have?
did, yeah.
You
Well,
did.
I played through some of it on stream, but I was part of like when it came out, I was part of like a group playthrough where we all kind of like hanging around, chilling and like playing through it at the same time.
Nice.
Like with friends.
Yeah.
So I played through like I know how it ends and how it goes and everything, but like I've never just solo played through it from start to finish.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be playing through the second one from start to finish. Yeah.
Sweet, dude. Yeah, I'm excited for Last of Us. I'm probably gonna stream it. I hope I can stream it in its entirety. We'll see. Um, and then, man, I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't at least bring this up and talk about it a little bit. I think everything that's been happening. I mean, we just say like, yeah, this year is crazy, but like, especially lately, it's
Yeah.
been it's been amazing, but also awful to be on the
Yeah.
internet.
Yeah. There's so much going on, and I do truly believe that it's mostly all with like amazing intentions and people genuinely trying to make change. Like you've got people on both sides that are starting like discourse as like a way of personal gain or that you don't know what their motivations are, but like I think largely and in the vast majority you just have people that are like good that are trying to do their best and like genuinely try to understand perspectives that aren't their own, fight for changes in inequality, and yeah, it's crazy.
I think it's important right now. I mean, I've talked about it a bit on my social media. I lost so many followers
Yeah.
just for like tweeting about the Black Lives Matter movement and tweeting
Yep.
just it's
Oh
not
man,
my takes are
I
pretty vanilla, dude.
they're pretty vanilla, but like it's like man, I've got people who have been nothing but like weird trolls on my Instagram for the past like 2 to 3 years that are just they say the worst things, and I'm just not entirely sure why I haven't blocked them yet. Suddenly, these like experts on all this stuff, and it's like suddenly they care so much, and it's like you literally spent the last like 3 years being an absolute idiot, and now you're going to try to have some kind of like moral superiority over a situation where people are just trying to learn and do better and just let the people whose voices need to be heard be heard. It's like stop, just stop.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
I think people are using this time. I don't think it's a majority of people, but some people are using this time to do bad. I think it's
Yeah.
important. I mean, listen, I'm a white chick. I've never
Yep.
had an issue. I can't even imagine the issues that black people have to face every day in America. And for me, when all this started happening, I understand why it's happening, and I think it's important. But I just felt like a little lost, and I don't know. I saw some people being like, "Oh yeah, it's your white guilt," and I'm like, dude, I actually want to help though. Like, how can I help? How can I
Yeah.
be a good ally? And like, I've figured it out. I think social media during this time, it's been way too real. It's been tough to look
Hmm.
at, but I think it's this conversation needed to happen, and it seems like, I'm not saying everything's hunky dory now because it's for sure not, but there's been small steps of progress made that weren't
Hmm.
there a year ago. And
Yeah.
although I think it's extremely unfortunate that what happened to George Floyd, this is not the first, second, third, what, this is not even close to the first
No,
time that this has
it's
happened.
really
We had
not.
similar things happen in the 90s, obviously the 60s. Like, it just
Yeah.
feels like a cycle, but I'm hoping that it seems like it's possible
Yeah.
for change to really start happening. You're seeing it a little bit, and I'm just hoping that people don't let up. I've seen a lot of, like, what's crazy to me, Jedi, I want your take on this, like
Mm.
influencers who are kind of like hashtag Black Lives Matter, because it's like very, it's a great gesture to do it. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I'm saying you should follow it up with actions that really prove that you actually care about it more than just trying to fit into whatever social narrative's happening.
Yeah. Like I it's so weird because I do think a lot of them do want to help, but I remember when I think it was like the music industry tried to decide that they were gonna do like the Blackout Tuesday. So they posted the day before that they were like, we're not gonna be promoting any of our stuff tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be a day where we either just amplify the voices of Black people around us, or we're just going to leave the narrative open for them. Then a lot of people jumped in on it on that Tuesday. So they're posting, even if they weren't using the hashtag, they were posting just the black box, which is just flooding everything. So you're not even leaving room for the discourse to happen. And I don't think anybody had ill intent with that at all. And I think it was supposed to be a show of solidarity, but I can understand why when people started doing it the day of instead of like the day before to let you know what was happening, it just kind of turned into a thing where like no voices were being amplified at all. And it wasn't supposed to just be to completely stop engaging with anything. It was just to only engage in a way that's amplifying the voices of those that needed to be amplified. So, and I think some people are like, I don't know, some people are doing it in weird ways where it's like the model accounts are posting these like super like model pictures of themselves being like, guys, it's so important right now. And it's like I get that maybe you do have good intentions, but you're also simultaneously kind of making this about yourself when it doesn't have anything to do with you in that way. And I get that it's hard to juggle and it's hard to know how to be a good ally sometimes. But I do think most people have good intentions
I I
overall.
think they
But
do, but I think it is disgusting when people try to take advantage of, in a way that they're going to the protest to just, have their sign, take a couple quick pictures, and then
yes,
peace. It's like
yeah, that's
those. It's like those people that go to like charity day and go for like 20 minutes.
so they're like,
Yeah,
and
I'm
then that's
helping the
it.
community.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'd been giving to like a handful of different charities, and I still am, and I'm giving to some in Canada that kind of deal more with like how we treat our like our First Nations and Indigenous communities and stuff, because
Yes,
that's an
dude.
area
So
Canada's
important.
always wants to be like we're so much better, and I'm like, just look at this entire side of our history that we should probably be looking into. And I was donating to areas where I felt like I had more of an understanding because I did do research for wrongful convictions, so I was giving to like a couple different um charities there, but I wasn't trying to like also just post that I was giving to charities. I was just posting links to resources for places that, do your research, find out which one works for you, and give back if you have the ability to. And if not, sign petitions in situations where like something happened that people weren't held accountable for their actions, or there wasn't like an appropriate like search into it. Like a lot of those protests have led to like FBI reopening certain cases to look at things from like not from within the police, but getting an outside study. And it's not to say that they're going to find anything different. We don't know. That's the next part of the battle. But there's a lot of ways that people can help without have I don't know. There's just a lot of ways people can help, and I do think that most people are trying to. But yes, there was definitely a lot of people doing um, like optics pro I don't know. They
There
were doing
were
it for the optics. They weren't
they
doing it because
were
they actually cared.
I
They're
heard
just
this
rocking up
I heard this
to.
somewhere, man. I can't remember where I heard it. They're looting. Yeah, there's people there looting the stores and getting things
Mhm.
for their own personal benefit. And those same people that are going down there to take some pictures and then bounce and not be a part of the protest, not be a part of the voice, the larger voice that's hopefully helping get some of these actions behind it on a governmental level. But like, those people are looting for their own personal gain just as well off the situation. I think it's gross. And it's
Yeah,
not that many
absolutely.
people. There's so many more people. I hate to focus on it because there's so many more people that are doing the right thing and there for the right
Yeah.
reasons and all
Yeah, and there's
that.
been so many peaceful protests recently, but they're not getting as much attention right now because there isn't a narrative that you can swing out of it at this point.
Yeah.
If it's just people peacefully protesting, you can't spin it either way. You can't be
Yeah.
like, oh, it's the violent detractors from the left or it's the violent detractors on the right. Like, you can't spin it either way if it's just genuinely good people coming together to try to do good. So you're seeing less of it. Um, it's rough.
This year's been the weirdest year. It's been great for me personally on a lot of levels, also shit personally on a lot of levels. I
Yeah.
just think as a society, as a human race, like shit's been crazy. And for us Americans, we're about to top this thing off with a fucking
An
election.
election year.
God, I want to gag. I'm so pissed. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
awful.
They both suck, but it's just it's such a weird. It's so weird. But I'm trying to look at all of these protests in like a positive light. That it's actually going
Yes.
to elicit the change. That it's not just going to be for nothing, and then it's not just gonna. And yeah, you're gonna. And that's the thing too. Like, America's a pretty big place. You're gonna have places where there's a lot of good, solid work and change happening in protests, and you're gonna have a lot of places that are gonna be pushing back against that because I think people have a hard time looking within themselves and realizing, like, I know how lucky I am, and I know that I grew up in a very not diverse place, and that comes with a lot of its it just, I don't know, I just have a very different life compared to other people, and it's just trying to be mindful of that, obviously, and how that's afforded me a better life than what a lot of other people can even hope for. And some people just don't want to acknowledge that because, again, saying that it's not saying that you didn't have any kind of struggle and that you didn't go through things and that you didn't potentially have a horrible life. It's just saying that, like, that aspect of you is not a reason why you had struggles, essentially, is what
Yeah.
they're putting out there.
I think you just put that perfectly. I think for me, I mean, yeah, it's been, especially when the police were tear gassing protesters, and you just see so many clips of like repeated police brutality, so many clips of people looting and starting things on fire and
Hmm.
just going nuts. It's like really disheartening. But at the core of all of this, and I try to, maybe I'm thinking too positively here, so check me comment section or don't please. But seeing, like you said, like the amount of things I've learned about since this, from reading about these petitions and then signing them and doing more research and finding out, okay, well, what happened here and why has nobody been arrested for the murder of Breonna Taylor? Like, what is going on? Like,
Yeah,
looking into that,
seriously.
understanding the protest
Yeah.
behind it. I've donated, I'm not gonna say, but a large sum of money recently just to these different causes that I believe in. It's different ones. It's about rebuilding. It's about finding the social justice causes that I believe in. I've done a lot of research that I definitely probably wouldn't have done otherwise, and it's
Yeah.
been important for, I think, me, and I just hope that other people are doing the same thing, where they're taking this moment to understand, like, okay, what's going on? Why are people mad? What can we do to fix it? What is the way? And
Hmm.
I'm not saying there's one right way to do every single thing, but I'm saying we need to start talking about it and figure it the frick out.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I hope it gets better, though. I mean, honestly, I think this
Yeah.
COVID stuff's, I don't know, man. I've
That's
been,
gonna get out of control soon too, again, because there was already a spike after Memorial Day weekend in the US. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I did read that, but I did read something yesterday that said there's not been a large spike in the Twin Cities from the protests yet,
Yeah, it
possibly
has.
due to the amount of masks that were being worn, which would then double down on the whole, like, you should wear a fucking mask
But
if you
isn't
go
it
in
like
public.
just hitting 2 weeks now? Like, isn't it
Yeah, it's
just about
I
two
get
weeks? Like, a little over now?
I get an email from the Minnesota State Department of Health every day that tells me the case number, the deaths, the tracking, the comparison.
Right.
So I've been like keeping close up to date with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking for if it spikes up. I mean, one thing oh dude, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. Wearing a mask should not be politicized. There, I said it.
It shouldn't be.
That's all I'm going to say on it. If you fight
It
against
really
wearing a
should.
mask, you're a selfish fuck and don't listen to my podcast. Just kidding. I love you. Psych.
Just make me wear a mask.
Maybe wear a mask when you go out in public. It's not
Yeah,
hard.
it's like one of these things, like, you've got people that are working, front-facing retail jobs that don't have a choice but to be there, and that they're, like, making your food for you, and, like, they're showing up to places that really don't necessarily need to be open, but they're there because things have to go on and people need to make livings and, you know, not even gonna go down that thread right now because there's a lot of ways you can look at that, but, like, the
Yeah.
least you could do to respect them back is just wear a mask, even if it's just when you're in the store, just, like, wear it and then take it off if you're not concerned once you leave again. Like, and you get back into your car, just take it off. Just, like,
Don't be a baby.
it's really like, I get it. Some people have, like, really severe anxiety, and some people have other medical issues that make it hard to wear certain masks, but, like, for the most part, it's not that deep. Just wear it.
Yeah, I'm more. If you have health complications or asthma or something like that, that
Like,
keeps
maybe you
it's
just
already
shouldn't.
hard enough for you to breathe, and a mask adds to that. I'm not really focusing on those people. I think those people
No.
that are like, well, I have a Costco membership and I can fucking go in there and it's my right to not wear a mask. And I'm like, dude, you're entering private fucking property.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
the other
paid
thing.
to enter it, but that doesn't mean you just get to go in there and like shit on their floor. Like, what are you talking about? These people are so
Exactly.
dumb, Jed. God, I'm
It's
pissed. Now I'm
really
pissed.
it's not that hard. Some people, but it's
Oh,
the thing, some people just wanna fight back against anything, and I get it, I can be very stubborn about things too, but it's just at some point, it's like, it's a mask, it's not supposed to be intended to be the stepping stone to losing your civil liberties or something like that, like, it's
yeah,
just
it's a public health and public safety concern. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, we've already like we kind of touched on when the COVID stuff first started happening. I mean, nobody knew what the hell is going on. I think it's something that we need to still take serious. I think it's gonna come back either from people getting outside in the summer and not giving a fuck as much, or when it gets cold again and cold and flu season starts. I mean, it's gonna be a mess. Think of like
yeah.
you're gonna get a cold in October and be like, oh my god, I have COVID, and like I can't
Yeah,
go to work. I'm not going.
yeah, you
You
get
know, it's gonna
I
be
get
crazy.
allergies right now, and I'm like, "Oh god."
Oh, I know, dude. Or like like I'm so white that when I go outside and the sun hits my eyes the wrong way, I sneeze, and I'm like, oh my god, did anyone see that? I'm not sick, I
Yeah,
swear.
seriously.
I'm not
Yeah, but at
sick.
least you care. There's so many people that are, like, aren't wearing masks that just cough constantly, and I'm like, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not sick." I'm like, "I what? What? How do you know that? You don't know." And I don't care. It's still gross.
People are
Like, come
just
on.
horrible. I don't understand. I can't empathize with them. I don't understand. I like to understand people, and I don't understand those people, Jedi.
I know.
Frick, man. All right, let's end this thing off. Give me one. Okay? First of all, I shouldn't say me because do it for the people. You've given
For
me
the
some
people.
amazing movie recommendations. Some of them I've
Oh,
watched, some of them get
yeah.
into. But what's your number one like thing that people should watch? I'm gonna say my thing, but you say yours first.
Like, in regards to, like, things that are going on right now or just in general?
Just in general, or maybe both, whatever you're into.
I think a lot of people should watch this movie called Blind Spotting. I think that it really kind of outlines a lot of the things that are going on right now and what people are fighting for in a way that obviously I do think that media can help make really difficult topics more digestible and understandable because you get a little bit more of like a clean narrative, and it really just shows you where a lot of those kind of like differences lie and differences in treatment lie. So Blind Spotting was really great. It's from 2018. um, there's also something on Netflix called When They See Us, which is based off of an actual case where people were wrongfully convicted and were in jail for a very long time. And I think it's definitely worth watching. Other than that, one of my favorites from last year, Honey Boy, is on Amazon Prime.
It's so
You should
good.
definitely, it's so good. You should check it out. It's great. And yeah, I'll leave you with those. I think those are my recommendations. Also, The
Sweet.
Hate You Give. The Hate You Give was also another really good one that deals with a lot of these situations that might be a little bit more aimed at kind of like a teen to young adult audience. So maybe if you have like teenagers or kids and you kind of want to watch something with them that's not too heavy but still kind of explains what's going on, that's a great recommendation as well.
Damn, bro. You nailed it. I like how I asked for one and I got four. That's solid.
It's my life.
That's solid. um, fuck. Mine aren't gonna have any. Okay, so
That's okay.
yeah, she went like the social justice cause. Art imitates life. Life imitates art. All that. I'm gonna go. I mean, I don't know. There's some underlying themes of this show. I recommend it so much. Jedi. I've been recommending it to you for a while. I don't think you've watched it. Don't lie to me if you have. Okay. It's called The Leftovers. It's on
I've seen The
HBO.
Leftovers.
You seen it?
Yeah.
All
I've
of
seen
it?
Leftovers.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
swear I told you to watch it, and you're like, yeah, I'll
Yeah,
get
but
to
like
it.
a year ago.
Wait, so what'd you think? Don't no
It's so
spoils.
good. No, it's so good.
Y'all heard
It's
it.
so good.
It's so good.
Leftovers is so good.
Oh my god, we just became best friends more than we already were, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Okay. Yeah, that just made me so happy. Watch Leftovers on HBO.
Yeah.
It's only 3 seasons. It's incredible. And then when you get done with that, this one kind of has some you know what's crazy about this? So The Watchmen was a graphic novel that was then a movie that has now been adapted into a TV show.
But it's a different story as the TV show. It's kind of like
Yes.
a continuation, kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
The Watchmen TV show is also on HBO. The same
Yes.
writer-director who did The Leftovers and Lost. Incredible show. It taught me about the Oklahoma,
Tulsa
the Tulsa,
Massacre.
Oklahoma stuff that they showed in Watchmen. I didn't even know, as an American, this was less than 100 years ago, pretty much.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't even know that happened. And I learned about it from a show. That's sad.
Art imitates life.
Exactly. I've been really thankful to learn as much as I have during this time, and I'm going to keep doing it. I think I've said this on social media. I'm going to keep trying to look out for what I can and who I can long after it's trendy to do so. And I hope that everyone does the same. Yeah, other than that, man, dude, it's good being back. Should we do another one next week?
I'm down.
All right, it might have to be recorded at nighttime, though.
That's fine, too.
Because I have a job, so shit. Can't just willy-nilly like, yeah, let's record.
Oh, how the turntables.
Amanda, I'm the one with a job, and like Amanda's like, I can record anytime, bro.
No.
All right, dude. Well, GG's. Thank you so much for listening. If you made it all the way to the end, you deserve a star. I don't know where you're going to give it. Oh, you know what? You could give us a star on iTunes. Hit us with a rating. Thanks in advance. We'll catch you guys next week for the next episode. I'm down to do this once a week. It's good to connect and keep talking about stuff that's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pop culture, movies, video games, chicks. We can talk about chicks this time. Dang. Hey, we should have update or not? What am I saying? Advice.
Yeah,
do we
used
still
to do
want to do
advice
advice?
questions. Yeah, I'm down with doing advice. So if people ever have advice, email it to amandathejedi@gmail.com for the Powered Down podcast, and we will help you.
Yes. Give or seek advice from 2 non-qualified individuals. We got you. Jedi's way more qualified than me, though. So
a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of it.
I got a degree.
She has a degree in advice, and I have a degree in video games. It's not the same. All right, we'll catch you guys later. Thanks for listening.
Later.